So, um, occasionally I get some comments from Christians, well meaning Christians, but don't quite understand where I'm coming from. And they, in their not so subtle way, come in with an accusatory energy and call me deceived or prideful and what have you. They turn the situation into a negative, um, adversarial enemy type of scenario, as if I am the enemy of God. And I want to address this the unconsciousness in these comments. Clearly, they are coming from the dualistic mindset that is based in the knowledge of good and evil, of light and dark, of contrast, of opposites. And from this consciousness of duality, of course, you have to have the two sides. You have to have God and the devil. And you have to have humility and pride. See, that's the nature of the knowledge of good and evil. And if you eat from that, you create death. And when people call me out for wanting to be independent, for wanting to feel in control, in possession of my own life, and they call me prideful, they are in their mind setting me up as the enemy of God. And it's no other way possible. It's not possible to see it any other way from that perception or vantage point. They're eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which leads to death. In the consciousness, in the 5D consciousness of union and oneness with God, pride does not exist. Pride is a concept of the lower mind, a mind that self-deprecates, a mind that is afraid of praise, is afraid to value itself because of this accusation of pride. And I feel sorry for the Christian mindset that is stuck in this knowledge of good and evil. It's stuck in seeing creation separate from God instead of God throughout all creation. Ephesians, I think it's 2, Ephesians 2:14. Somewhere in Ephesians it says there's one Spirit and one God, one Father, in all, through all, and on all. Meaning there doesn't exist anything that isn't God. So people who try to separate God from creation, separate God from myself, separate God from themselves, they are in error. Because there is only one Spirit, and it is in, on, and through everything. Try to dispute with that. You are God. I am God. Your pet is God. The rocks in your driveway is God. But you need to ascend your lower frequency awareness to see that oneness, to to be connected with everything. So I can't argue with Christians because I'm not in that level anymore. And I'm not here to perpetuate duality, perpetuate death, perpetuate war and enmity. God has no enemies. We create enemies for God in our mindset. God is not threatened by my pride. By the way, it's not pride, it's self-confidence. You should not feel afraid or ashamed to be aware of your self-worth. If you consider yourself trash, how can you possibly portray the image of God that you are? Right? If you're the image of God, you have to know who and what God is to be a proper reflection, and that's what I am. People criticize it because they themselves have not taken the courage to own their whole being, body, mind, and soul, and see themselves as divine. There's nothing prideful in it, and to want to be equal with God, there's nothing prideful in it. But you have trauma from being told that you're worthless, that you're no good, that you're a dirty sinner. And that trauma is not easy to overcome. And that's why you can only look through that lens and begrudge anyone that has freed themselves from that trashy self-image and actually took the courage to believe in themselves, to trust in themselves, because they recognized the divine soul that they are. So reckon with your own trauma before you project your own fears and insecurities on someone else and call it pride. It's not pride, it's self-confidence, it's self-worth, it's self-love. Nothing wrong with that. God is not threatened by these things.